welcome to another episode of The Man Space. Thank you so much for joining my co-host Coach Kunle and I for another conversation with a amazing gentleman who is dedicated to and committed to making an impact, a lasting impact in this world. The Man Space is dedicated to talking about how do we bring out the best in every male in our lives, male in our community, because we live in a world where boys are raised not to feel, not to talk about feelings, and not to show up in a way that we acknowledge that they are feeling beings who happen to think and act. And when we deny that, there are social ramifications, and we need to get past that. And so thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. Ken Foster joining us from the United States. What I am going to do, Ken, is actually have you talk about what got you to a place where you are focused on social impact and transforming lives. And as a male from the Western world, how are you doing what you're doing while embracing your emotions and being the human you were meant to be?
Well, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here today, and I'm just thinking as you're talking about some of the transformations I personally have gone through in my own life. I grew up in the United States in California. I grew up in a middle class family. I had very loving parents who, like all parents in my world, seem to wound us in different ways. And meaning that we want certain things and they want certain things for us, and they're going to put their will on us, and sometimes that creates a lot of conflict, especially for men, especially going through teenage years where we're trying to find our roots, trying to find who we are. And if you have somebody in your life that's very manipulative, controlling, and wants the best for you, but still is going to control what you want, your outcomes, sometimes that doesn't sit well. And I know for me, it didn't work for me. And so early in my childhood, I found escape. I escaped through drugs, through alcohol, through sex, through overeating, through anything I could, because I wasn't able to manage my emotions. I wasn't able to manage my feelings. And I think a lot of young males sometimes turn to that, especially in a society today. So at one point along my journey, I didn't stay that way. I had to wake up, right? I had to be able to start to learn how to master my emotions and master my feelings. And quite frankly, there was a little voice that I heard. And that little voice said, you got to feel the pain to make the change. Feel the pain to make the change. Now, I was raised in my childhood. I was a Catholic, a good Catholic young boy. And we were taught in that religion to sacrifice, right? And I didn't like to sacrifice anything because I got sacrifice mixed up with, I would say, doing things that I didn't want to do. I didn't realize in my youth that if you want to grow anything, if you want to grow your muscles, if you want to become an entrepreneur, if you want to get A's in school, whatever you want to do, it takes sacrifice. You got to feel that pain to make the change. So when I got that concept is when everything changed in my world. My whole life changed. For me, in this day and age, I've been a triathlete for many years, run by bike swim. I qualified in 2017 for the Penticton Triathlon event, the largest event in the world. 3,500 athletes where I competed and became top 10 in the world in my area. did things like that, and, created all the success, the multiple companies that I run today, and the success we have, all through that one concept: feel the pain to make the change. So that's where I'd like to start. Yeah.
Wow, that's so amazing. And the word is still reverberating in my ears right now, even after you said it. Feel the pain to make the change. And sincerely speaking, that's like creating like a perspective about pain. When you see the gain aspect, the gain that comes with the pain, then it changes the meaning and then it changes the emotions as well. I want you to talk to us because we have in our society a lot of men who are going through, a lot, so to speak. And there are so many constructs in the world whereby they deny the pain in the first instance. So it is one thing to be in pain. It takes another to even recognize or to come open to speak about the pain. What do you think is the missing link, and how do we address the missing link so we don't have a lot of men who are living in self-denial and thereby pushing themselves into a whole lot of vices and a whole lot of unhealthy coping mechanism because they do not find support in the world where they live in based on some constructs. Okay.
Well, what I'm about to share with young men is something that would be, in my day and age, I probably couldn't have heard it, but I'm hoping you can hear it, because I think we have to start with who we are. Okay, so who am I? Am I this body? Am I these hands? Am I this mind? Who am I really? And the other part is, what's my purpose for being here? Okay, what is your purpose for being here? So those two questions are difficult questions to really get to for most. When we start to realize, though, that we are not these bodies, that we are something deeper within us, is this power, this energy, this passion in all of us. When we take off what I want to call it, and I call it my soul, okay, our soul. But our soul, for a lot of us, is covered up with this kind of what I would call a rust, R-U-S-T, meaning that what is the rust? The rust is societal beliefs, parental beliefs, beliefs that you're not enough, beliefs that you can't do it, beliefs that you don't know who you are. These beliefs that it'll never happen for me, beliefs that I'm not smart enough or big enough or whatever. All that is the rust over this brilliant soul. And my mentor, one of my mentors, Dr. Irvin Laszlo, who's been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize twice and has written over 106 books, he talks in one of his books about the Akashic records. What's the Akashic record? Well, it's a fancy name for what we can all tap into. It's the same energy that Einstein tapped into, Nikola Tesla, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, all the leaders that have ever accomplished anything great in the world. It's this place of universal consciousness that we all have within us. And when people come to me, I tell them the first step after you want to feel the pain to make the change. Okay, I'm not talking about suffering, by the way. That's it's not about sacrifice and suffering are two different things. Suffering is optional, but sacrifice to get what you want is how we grow, we evolve, and we start to tap into this thing called, we'll use Irvin's term, the Akashic records. So it's a place where you can tap into this power within you that's there for all of us. See, what we've learned in quantum physics and quantum science today, neuroscience, is that everything and all of us are one. We are all connected to this life force, right? Now, if you learn how to tap into it by using the power of your mind, which we can talk about in a minute, then you can start to move past some of your challenges that you're having, whether it's challenges with girls, challenges with your parents, challenges with your work, challenges with your health, whatever it is. Everybody has within them the ability to move past any challenge in your life. If you don't even have to believe me, you need to test it, right? So how do we test it? Well, I want to say this. There's a concept called courage. You guys, everybody knows courage. Well, you see courageous superheroes, you see courageous people out there. Well, courage, where does it come from? Courage is really an energy. It's a power. It's something within inside of you. And when does it show up? It shows up when you set your intention to overcome a difficulty that you have, whatever it is, and you take a step towards that. That's when this courageous power shows up. Courage is really an energy. It's a vibration. Nicholas Tesla, one of the great inventors in the United States back in the 1920s and 30s, said, if you want to understand the universe, understand energy, frequency, and vibration. All of us have energy, frequency, and vibration within us. But if we're thinking in terms of limitations, I can't do this, I won't do this, this will never happen for me. If you start thinking in those terms, that vibration within you goes down and you start tuning into a collective data field of thought that will support your beliefs, if that makes any sense. I know I'm kind of going deep with this. I'm sorry, but it went that way.
Don't worry about it, because what you're saying completely resonates for me. I come from a society where we greet each other saying vanakkam and namaste. That means the love, light, and truth inside of me, which is my soul, sees that same thing in you, because at that point of recognition, you and I come from the same place. So we are raised to believe that the divine and the divine energy is already within us. And the most important relationship each of us are going to build is with the divine within. And my very name, Kasturi, means a child named Kasturi is supposed to grow up knowing everything they need to have to be successful and peaceful and happy in life is already inside of them. They just need to master the art of draw from within. So what you're saying is perfectly in the wheelhouse of how in my society we're raised. And it totally resonates for me. And it also sits in the sweet spot of what Rumi talks about. None of us are a drop in the ocean. We are each an entire ocean in a drop. That means the energy, the experience, the joy, the peace, the courage of the entire universal energy is in us. We just have to believe and tap into it. So I totally hear what you're saying. How do you translate this into a Western society that is raised to believe in good or bad, heaven or hell, and that Catholic guilt?
Yeah, well, I think how we tune it into whether it's a Western society or Eastern society is the way that I look at it is what are the results you're getting in your life, okay? So just look at the results. You know, if your relationship is going well, great, okay? You're probably doing the right things. If your business is doing great, the same thing, you're doing the right things. But if things are not going the way that you think you want them to go, then guess what? The circumstances outside of you probably aren't going to change. You have to change. We have to tune within. And thank you for bringing Namaste up, because I was just in India for 25 days, and there is a frequency of vibration and energy in India, just like there is in Hawaii, okay? And you have to catch India, okay? It's not necessarily a place, it's a state of mind. When you catch the Indian state of mind, you start to realize that we're all on a sacred journey, a sacred mission. And in the areas that I were, you know, there's reminders everywhere to go within, you know, realize that you are one with everyone, you are one with God, you are one with the universe. So there's that piece. All right, back to the, so if the results are not happening, then what do we do? Let's talk about the Western mindset, because I think that this is the key that so many of us has created so much wealth by using a simple mindset. What's the mindset? Again, look at what's working, look at what's not working, and then commit to improving on that. Number one. commit to improving. With that, we set intention, right? What is the intention? I intend to generate, let's say in the money side of this, I intend to generate, oh, I don't know, 10,000 rupees, okay, if you're in India, a month. Or maybe you're in the United States and you say, I tend to generate $5,000 or more per month starting next month in this new business I'm starting, okay? So we start with intention. The next thing that I help people with is purpose. If you have a strong intention, but you don't have a big why underneath that, why am I doing this? Okay. And I think there's some people will go, well, the why is like, well, I want to do this because I want to buy a new car. That's okay. That's great. But I think there's a deeper why, and I alluded to that in the beginning. The why is if you realize why you are here, and I'm going to tell you my point of view on that. We're all on a sacred journey, a sacred mission to evolve ourselves to become, I would say, self-realized, okay? Self-realized. When Stephen Jobs, everybody knows Stephen Jobs of Apple Computer, right? When Stephen Jobs, everybody knows he kind of controlled a lot, right? He knew what he wanted. He set intention. He got clear with what he wanted. He went out and got it. And he created this beautiful company called Apple, right? Well, when he passed, he designed his memorial service. And at the memorial service, everybody got a brown box. And in the brown box was a book. It was the only book that Stephen Jobs had on his Apple phone, his iPad at the time. What was the book? The book was a book from Paramahansa Yogananda. And Paramahansa Yogananda is a yogi that came from India and came to the United States back in 1924. What was Yogananda's message to the world? Well, he had several, but the one that Stephen Jobs was putting out in the world is to self-realize, self-actualize, know who you are within ourselves. So the why becomes, why am I here? How do I tie this goal into why I'm here, right? Well, are we here to grow, to evolve, to learn, to develop ourselves, to self-actualize into the best potential, to God potential, I would say, within ourselves? If that's your goal, then you can tie in these business goals into your own evolution. The next step then, so that's step 1, 2, step 3, you step into service. Anybody that's self-actualized is in service. So it's, you ask, what can I give or give up to accomplish this dream of mine? And then, of course, is the action steps that you take every single day, no matter what, every single day to accomplish your dream. That's the Western mindset. That's what we're doing consciously or unconsciously to manifest what we want in this world consistently. And if you combine that with one last piece, it's a piece that changed everything for me. About 1995 for me. I learned to meditate. I learned to go within. I learned to still my mind and to commit morning and night to a practice to be able to tune into, what did I say earlier? The Akashic record, the universal mind, the mind of God, whatever you want to call it. When we get to still our minds, we get the downloads of everything you need to accomplish everything you need in this world.
Wow, that's so massive. That's amazing. A lot of wisdom dropping, Ken, and I am just so, I'm downloading them just as you are dropping them in bits by bits. And I know a lot of people who are watching will have gotten so much, and we're really thankful for the words of wisdom that you are sharing and the depth at which you are bringing them. And you talked about intention, purpose, service, what you need to give or what you need to give up in order to find, that connection with yourself and then with your world. And I think it's so important in our world today. And I know a lot of people will definitely, imbibe some of those things after this particular cast. I want you to just share with us some of your projects and then how people can get a hold of you, so that a lot of people who are willing to reach out to you will definitely be able to do that. Ken.
Thank you so much. I'll answer the last one first. You can go to kendfoster.com. Ken D as in Donald. Ken D Foster, FOSTER.com. And on my website is the opportunity right now to have a session with me or one of my coaches. And also, if you're a person struggling with some of these limiting beliefs, let's say, okay, I have a process on my website. You get it for free. It's called the release process, and it helps take you through a series of steps to release any kind of negativity that you may be carrying on from in the past. I let you keep your memories, but we let go of the emotional attachments to anything that might be holding you back. And that one exercise, I hope you'll take me up on it. It's called the release process. It's free. It's on my website. And if you go through it, might take you 2-3 hours to do it. I can guarantee you're going to see things completely different. You're going to have different experiences in this world by releasing the past and living here in the moment. All right, what am I doing right now? Let me share my screen real quick with you, and hopefully it'll come right up. I've got a new summit that I'm speaking on, and I'm also the executive producer of. It's called Upshift, the Upshift Summit. It's coming November 15th through November 18th. It is a virtual summit. You can register at upshiftsummit.com, upshiftsummit.com. It's a free registration. We've got amazing speakers. We got people like Deepak Chopra, who will be speaking, Dr. Bruce Lipton. We have, of course, myself, Dr. Irvin Laszlo. This summit here is in honor of him. It is his summit, truly. He's had conversations with about 50 of the most powerful transformational leaders in the world. And, you don't need more information. Nobody does. Okay. If you need information, just Google it or use AI and you can get the information you need. What we need today is wisdom, so that we can upshift our consciousness and keep up with the new technologies that are coming on the planet. If we can all do that, then what's going to happen, we're going to have a lot more joy and happiness and love in this world. That's what the summit's about, giving you the wisdom that you need to take your thinking to the next level. So that's what I'm up to. I hope everybody will register for it. I mean, we've got some of the most powerful women speakers in the planet. We've got Lynn McTaggart, who teaches something called the Power of 8, where you to manifest what you want in a group. We've got Marianne Williamson. We've got Suzanne Geisman. We've got who else? I don't know. Oh, Jean Houston. I don't know. If you guys don't know Jean Houston, you got to know Jean Houston. So she's done more for consciousness in the world than almost any woman that I know of. So anyway, I hope you'll take us up and check that out. Thank you for the opportunity to share that.
Wow. That's so amazing.
Thank you so much, Ken. This has been an amazing conversation. And I am sure we might have to bring you back to do a deeper dive on a variety of other elements related to this. But we appreciate the information shared, the insights shared, and the conversation started with the man space. And the Kunle, go ahead and wrap it up, my brother.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kaz. It's been a wonderful time with Ken right on the man space. And I know, as always, the addition, back to back, we do have great insight. And today is not an exception, so to speak. So thank you once again, Ken, for coming around with your wisdom, with energy, with power, and the insights that you have shared. And for everyone who is watching, this is the man's space. If you aren't following us already, you just do that. Just hit the notification button on YouTube so you can get notified when we upload a new episode. Stay glued, stay tuned, because Dr. Kaz and I will stay calm time and time again and again with a wonderful and amazing guest. You just have to stick around with the man's space. Stay, guys.
Thank you, Dr. Kaz. Thank you, Kunle. I appreciate you and all you do and look forward to
That was awesome. That was powerful, Kane. Powerful.